Welcome everyone to the Dr. Ward Bond Show, and I have got a treat for you today. But of course, guess what? We are still under stay-at-home orders. Again, all of us are living this quarantine life, but I have someone very special that you see on the screen right now, Dr. Cara Natterson, and she is a pediatrician, popular speaker, and a consultant, New York Times best-selling author, and her newest book, Decoding Boys: New Science Behind the Subtle Art of Raising Sons, is actually available right now. But today's topic is the coronavirus and our family. And Dr. Natterson, let me ask you a question. What are some of the biggest challenges that parents and families are actually facing during this time?
So there are two different sets of challenges depending upon what's going on in any given family. One group of families is struggling with everyone being under the same roof all at the same time, right? So a lot of people and maybe a lot of downtime, maybe not a lot of downtime, but trying to juggle all those dynamics. The other group is dealing with sort of the stressors of maybe not having everyone under one roof. Maybe you've got someone in your home or multiple people in your home who are working right now out of the home, which is a really big deal, especially for frontline workers in the hospital and the healthcare system, but also grocery workers and postal office workers and all the people that are performing the essential services. That's a stressor to families because those folks are not only not home, but they are actually putting themselves at risk as they are out and about in the community or in the hospitals.
Well, let me ask you this. This question just popped in my head. What about all of these families out there that may be one-parent households? Maybe parents have gotten divorced. They have to share the kids, every other week or during the weekend. Is there anything that these parents need to be doing to protecting their children as well as themselves, as you're actually going from one household to another, and there's also quite a few grandparents out there that are raising their children's children?
Yeah, this is a really tricky area. There are lots and lots of family structures. Many of them include more than one home for children. So some families are doing it where the kids are all staying in one place for an extended period of time. Those might be families where maybe one parent lives with the children the majority of the time and the other parent has said, listen, I'm going to either come to your space or I'm going to let you just take the kids and keep the kids in that space because that feels safer to me. There's no room for judgment, by the way. We're all trying to figure this out on our own. So these are lots of different ways to go about it. There isn't really a right way. Then there are other families where the kids do go back and forth. The term I've heard used for that, and this term applies to a lot of different scenarios, is germ family. So who's in your germ family? And what that means is, who are you associating with during these mandatory stay-at-home orders? Let's list the people, whether they're parents, grandparents, significant others, people who are constantly in your space or spaces. And let's do our best to limit that group of people as much as possible so that we're not exposing ourselves to anyone outside of our germ family. So you might have a mom living in one house and a dad living in another, and you call that your germ family, and the kids go back and forth.
Excellent answer. I love that too. All right. Now, I understand that it can be very difficult to resist the urge to, schedule play dates and other activities with the kids right now. What can we do as parents with our children and letting them know that maybe they can't go outside or go outside in particular areas that they're used to? And how can we reduce this whole scary moment for them?
All right, this is tricky. So let's divide it into older kids, younger kids. Our older kids, middle school and up, those kids can have really reasonable, rational conversations with their parents. Just like everything else in parenting, it's many conversations over many, many days or weeks in this case. And those kids need to understand what their personal responsibility is. The likelihood that they are going to get sick with coronavirus, very small. The likelihood that they could pass it to other people unknowingly, quite high. So if we tell our tweens and our teens that we are hoping to empower them to protect other people, they are more likely to keep to themselves or limit their physical contact. They might socially distance by hanging out through video chat or online. They may socially distance by taking a walk where they're separated from a friend by at least 6 feet, although most people say more. That's the older kids. The younger kids, totally different ball of wax, because frankly, we all know that really little kids can't stay off each other. That is their nature. They're running, they're tumbling, they're playing. Those are kids you actually cannot put in proximity. It's not fair to ask those kids to not be physically connected, and it's too much of a risk to pass the germs from family to family, and it's too much of a stressor for you to run interference. So for those kids, I would just, as simple as you can, hey, there's a new virus going around. Viruses go around all the time. This one's really new. And since lots of people haven't gotten it, let's all stay home and all get better, just like you would stay home from preschool if you had a cold. Something really, really basic.
I completely agree with that. And I know that, we really started out with this whole coronavirus thing being very, we would watch the news and it would be very bleak, very doom and gloom. But I've got to say right now, we've got the silver lining kind of showing up here. We're seeing some hope. We're seeing this thing starting to plateau. And I know that everybody's waiting for all the numbers to go down, because I know everybody likes time off, but I don't think people like time off when they're forced to, because, hey, people have bills to pay. They have jobs they need to go to if they like it or not. But we have to, you got to get that paycheck. But what are the other silver linings right now that can be very positive for families to actually look forward to right now?
Yeah, so there are silver linings. This is a really tough time. And I don't want to sort of understate that. For some families, it's tougher than others. Some families have already been through their tough times. Maybe they've had someone with coronavirus in their home. Others have yet to face it. The economic tough times are going to be very, very serious for some families, many families. But there are silver linings. So one silver lining is time together. Doesn't always feel like a silver lining, but we are bonding with our families or the people who live under our roof in a very profound way, in a way that we've actually lost touch with over the past years and decades as electronic devices and social media and all these other things have come into our home. So this is a found moment for that. There's also kind of a return to what we all experienced when we were growing up, going out for walks, going out for bike rides, doing these things that for the last however many years have felt maybe unsafe to some people. And suddenly there are no cars on the street and there's sort of a freedom there for kids to explore. So that's a gift. I found for the older kids, the biggest gift is that parents are no longer in charge of curating their kids' interests. Their kids are coming to their interests organically. They got nothing but time. So what are they passionate about? What are they interested in pursuing? What silly or serious things do they want to do with their time? It's all coming from within, and they're figuring out who they are. That's an incredible, incredible thing.
Yeah, and I think right now is a perfect time for not just children of all ages, but also grown-ups as well to, during this time, we can actually, just dive deep inside and let some of that creativity that's been subdued or suppressed for so long, and now we have time, just let it come out. I'm telling people, look, take this time to go into the kitchen and learn how to cook or cook better. I know right now, even here at my house, we've been, we've pulled out the Monopoly games. We've pulled out Scrabble. We're actually in the kitchen, creating new recipes because, we have a little bit more time. And I think that we're going to see across this nation so many people who have let that creative person inside of them out. And we're going to see that when this thing is over, we're going to see people who are now going to be accomplishing things that they never thought they could because of this downtime. Instead of being a curse in our lives, I think it can actually be an overall blessing.
I hope so. I also have to say that from a medical perspective, this is the first time, certainly in my lifetime, that we have seen not just the entire country, but the entire world working towards one unified goal. And I don't think we've ever really had a moment where we can pull the lens back and say, wow, everyone wants the same endpoint. Everyone wants to make this better. That's powerful,
It is
right?
very powerful. And, and this, I would say the scale of America coming together right now is even larger than 9/11, because 9/11 was more of, wow, we never thought that would happen to us. We did come together in a very patriotic way, but now I think we're coming together not just in a patriotic way. We're coming together as a country that's becoming a family, and we're laying our differences aside. I'm hearing crime rates are dropping, violence is dropping, and I think we could actually see what is happening right now actually continue on, because people are finding out, hey, I don't have to be a bad person. I can. You're learning to be kind. And back on the family thing, real quick. I think for a lot of people, because of this social distancing, uh, we got to be thankful for FaceTime and Zoom and Skype, so we can still reach our families. We can still see them face to face, even though we may not be able to touch them. But any last words from you, Doctor?
Well, I just hope that even though there's some mixed messaging out there, I hope that everyone takes the mantra of, I want to protect you, please protect me. What that means is stay home, socially distance, wash your hands, and wear a mask. If you do those four things, if you teach your kids to do those four things, all of this will be resolved more quickly, and most importantly, we will lose fewer people. So thank you. Thank you for doing that.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, a very special guest today, Dr. Cara Natterson, and please check out her book, Decoding Boys, New Science Behind the Subtle Art of Raising Sons. I know a lot of people, a lot of parents out there need this book. It's available in print right now, as well as an ebook. And Dr. Natterson, I need to have you back so we can actually talk about this book. I would love to have you again, even if we come back via satellite. I think it'll be a lot of fun and a lot of great information for all of my viewers.
That would be great. Wonderful to be here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, stay with me. We will be right back after these messages.